Hey there folks, I'm Eric Osberg and this is The Outdoor Report. Today we're going to give you a walkthrough of the lineup of ice rods from JT Outdoor Products. We've done one of these videos a few years ago, but there's been some additions to the ice rods they have available, so we wanted to give you an updated version. Now as we walk through this, keep in mind these are technique specific rods that are designed for a specific species or a specific presentation, and so the factors you want to consider are what types of lure am I using, what type of hook set am I looking for, and what type of load do I need to land the fish. And so to give you kind of an overview, we'll start with the lightest. You've got the Panhandler, you've got the Rogue, you've got the Shiver stick, you've got the Gold Digger, you've got the Black Rain, and then you have the Walleye snare and the Panfish snare. And there's different lengths and different configurations for all of those rods, and I'll try to walk you through that. So first and foremost, we're gonna go talk about the Panhandler. Now the Panhandler is available in 3 different sizes: a 24, a 30, and a 35. And with all of these rods, the choice of length usually comes down to, am I fishing inside or am I fishing outside? You're gonna have different actions in the rod as well, but that's basically the first thing I consider is, am I in a shack or am I out hole hopping? So 24, 30, 35 for the Panhandler. And you can choose it with the spring or without the spring. And we've talked about this spring before, and it's unlike any other spring on the market, and it's made out of nitinol, so it's got a little bit more forgiveness. It's not quite as brittle as other springs that are out there. And it's got this high vis indicator up here, and again, you watch that indicator, and if you get an up bite or you get a super light bite, you're going to be able to see that plain as day. What I do is I usually watch my flasher underwater camera. As soon as I see something's close, then I start focusing on that. You'll notice that spring bobber is fully integrated into the blank, right? There's no hinge factor there, and this rod has plenty of backbone. I've seen it land some 4 or 5 pound bass. And again, you can get it without the spring bobber, and I've seen that rod run some pretty big lures. So if you want to have that super ultra sensitivity for those tiny itty bitty jigs and for those super light finesse bites, you're gonna want to get it with the spring bobber. If you're into running a little bit bigger baits and a little bit more aggressive fish, then you can go without the spring bobber, or you could get one of each, see which one works for you. And keep in mind that the length is before the spring bobber is added. So if this is a 24, it's 24, and then you've got the spring. The other thing, and again, this is going to apply to most of the rods, is your choice of handle configuration. So you can choose between cork or Sure Grip. Cork is your traditional style. Sure Grip is the new proprietary product from JT Outdoor Products. Came out with it a couple, 2-3 years ago, and I absolutely love this. And then again, and this isn't the case with every rod in every length, but one of the choices you get to make is, so do I want the full or do I want the split? So you've got cork versus Sure Grip, and you've got split versus full. And again, that'll apply to most of the rods we talked about. So if you're a bluegill person, if you're a finicky crappie person, if you're a little perch person, the Panhandler with the spring bobber is what I prefer. You can get it without as well. That works pretty good. So talked about the Panhandler. Then we move up to the Rogue. Now the Rogue again, the load is quite a bit different. It's what's referred to as a noodle style rod. You've got a lot of the action up towards the tip, and then the backbone is sturdier, if you will, than the Panhandler. This is predominantly a panfish rod. You could use it for walleyes if you chose, or big perch, and it's designed to be a hole hopper rod, right? And this comes in different lengths as well. You've got the 24, you've got the 32, and then you've got the 35. Obviously, if you're outside all the time, you're going to want the 35. If you're in a shack all the time, you're going to want the 24. It does have a high vis tip. It doesn't have that ball on there, but as you can see, I hope you can see. This is going to be a good strike indicator. And again, this is for a little bit bigger baits. Same types of fish, panfish predominantly. But so you've got the Rogue, you've got the Panhandler, you've got the Rogue, and those are your light rods. And then we step up to our medium lights. This is the Shiver stick. I've raved about this rod before. I love this rod, especially for big crappies. If I'm using larger profile ripping wraps or puppet minnows or jigging wraps, absolutely love this rod for crappies. This is a 28 inch. It also, new this year, it comes in a 32 inch. So you've got a 28 inch and a 32. And again, you make your choice between the type of handle that you want. And when you go to the website, you'll be able to see those selections. The good news about this rod is I'm not afraid to land a big walleye with this rod. So I certainly wouldn't target bluegills with it, but if you're kind of an in-between angler and you fish panfish sometimes and you fish walleyes sometimes, the Shiver stick is a nice go-between, if you will. Absolutely love that rod. So we've got the Panhandler, we've got the Rogue, we've got the Shiver stick, and then we get into the Gold Digger. Now the Gold Digger was designed as predominantly a walleye rod, and this has two lengths. You've got the 30 and the 34. And one other difference between the 30 and the 34 is the 30 is pretty much a true medium light, whereas the 34 is what's referred to as a mag medium light. Think JTX mag, if you will. And again, this is a walleye rod. You're going to use it with some bigger, buckshots, bigger spoons, bigger rattle baits, bigger swim baits, or puppet minnows, or jigging wraps, whatever it may be. If you're a walleye person and you needed to pick one rod, it would be the Gold Digger, in my humble opinion, although the Shiver stick would be a close second. So you got Panhandler, you got Rogue, you got Shiver stick, you've got Gold Digger, you've got different lengths, different handle configurations. You can figure all that out on the website. And then you move into the Black Rain series. Now this is your big fish series. This is your big lure series. This comes in 4 different lengths. You've got a 32, which is a medium, a 34, which is a medium, you've got a 38, and you've got a 40, and those last 2 are medium heavy. So if you're going after lake trout or huge massive walleyes or big pike, you're going to want the 38 or the 40. If you're into pretty big walleyes but sometimes not so big walleyes, the 32. If you're fishing in a shack all the time, the 32 is a great rod. And again, look at that handle there. That is a full handle with the sure grip. And one nice thing about the full handle versus a split grip, to each their own, but I prefer the full handle because I have a little bit more real configurations, right? Like I can set it where I want it a little bit more. I have a few more options. So Panhandler, Rogue, Shiver stick, Gold Digger, Black Rain, and then we move into the Snare series. So there is a panfish snare and a walleye snare. Walleye snare has 2 different lengths, a 32 and a 36, and this is a super slow action, right? This is the type of rod. It's a set rod system. You put a minnow on there, you put it in a rod holder, and you let that fish set itself basically, and then you give it a little bit of action. Again, your handle configurations, you can figure that out on the website. In some of them, there is an option for a screw-in seat, if you will. But yeah, so there's your lineup. I know I've repeated myself, but if you're into panfish, you're looking at the Panhandler or the Rogue. If you're into in between, maybe the Rogue into the Shiver stick. If you're a pure walleye purist, you're looking at the Gold Digger, and if you're a big fish hunter, you're looking at the Black Rain. And I would highly recommend everybody has one of the snare rods with them, so they can be running a active presentation and a set presentation. So the way that you buy these rods, once again, you go to jtodp.com. They have a very knowledgeable, very extensive pro staff, a team of distributors, if you will, across the ice belt, reach out to one of them. They'd be happy to answer any questions you might have. If you live close to one, they might even let you try one before you buy it. And if you do visit the website, make sure to enter the promo code TheOutdoorReport to get 5% off your entire order. So hopefully this helps. Hopefully this is a nice little buyer's guide for you. And if you have any questions, just reach out and let us know.